pink cloud of toxic dust blankets the California coastline during fire season. This is Phosgene. Phosgene is harmful because it contains ammonium phosphate, which can cause burns in the eyes, nose, and throat. Liquid fire retardants can pollute groundwater. I will be using renewable materials found in nature to create a non-toxic, cheap forest fire retardant. I chose to test 8 combinations of materials on 3 different types of California wood, with a commercial fire retardant, cellulose extract, clay vermiculate solution, polydopamine, cellulose polydopamine, polydopamine clay vermiculate, cellulose clay vermiculate, cellulose polydopamine clay vermiculate applied in mix, and cellulose polydopamine clay vermiculate applied separately in layers, my independent variables, and I used seawater as a control. Before doing the experiment, I thought that the polydopamine clay with vermiculate and cellulose extract applied in layers would work the most effectively as a fire retardant for the California forest for woods because the unique chemical structures of each substance would form a powerful net that will prevent oxygen entry to fuel the fire. First, I made the base solution, cellulose polydopamine and clay vermiculate solutions out of the invasive dusty miller plant species, seawater, dopamine, clay, and vermiculate. Then I had to apply these substances either by spray or dip in a consistent fashion. The full procedure is on my slideshow. The next part of the project was testing my variety of new retardants as well as the commercial fire retardant and the seawater control. I did 5 burn tests per wood per mixture and tested each wood by weight. I weighed the wood 3 times before the burn and 3 times after the 2-minute burn. Here are some examples of burn tests. Shown is the performance average of all the averages of the retardant tests. After testing each substance, the cellulose polydopamine solution applied in layers has the most effective fire retardant that worked well for all the woods. The cellulose polydopamine solution has a 22% overall weight decrease when compared to the overall control, with a 52% weight decrease after the burn test. This is a different result than what I hypothesized. Because this solution worked best for a variety of woods, redwood, eucalyptus, and Douglas fir combined, this would be the best choice of fire retardant for a biodiverse forest. Here's why it works. Polydopamine is found in mussels and is used as a sticking agent to stick to rocks, so when applied before the cellulose, it helps attach the cellulose to the wood. The cellulose falling off the wood was a problem when tested on its own. Another reason I think the polydopamine cellulose works well across all the woods is because the cellulose can conserve moisture and keep the wood damp. Because this solution works effectively for many different types of wood, it would be adequate for a diverse forest. This is an example of my fire retardant tested on a module of a forest that I made. The fire was difficult to control and sometimes it would go out. With more time, I hope to see how the bark of the woods burn with my fire retardant. I want to see the grooves, ridges, and other factors of the bark play a part in which retardant is the most effective. I also want to explore different ways I can apply my fire retardant to the wood to see if I can get the cellulose to apply more evenly by experimenting with paint sprayers. From the data I collected, applying a solution of cellulose fibers and polydopamine in seawater on forests can act as an effective substitute for harmful forest fire retardants. This natural substance can reduce intense burns by about 30% for California woods and is superior to a commercial fire retardant. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.